Seth here, registered dietitian, and today we're going to be talking about eggs. 36 eggs to be precise. That's the number of eggs that Vince Gironda said would mimic the effects of a mild Dianabol cycle for bodybuilders. Is it true? Is it BS? That's what I want to look at today. What kind of effect does this actually have in the body, and is it effective for building muscle above and beyond a normal type of diet? Let's dig into this. So Vince Gironda didn't just pull this idea out of thin air. Actually, it was a physician training at his gym back in the 70s named Dr. T.K. Desai who read this study in the Journal of Plastic Surgery out of Great Britain, and it was on burn patients. And so what they did was they gave these burn patients 36 eggs a day, and they miraculously healed their burns much faster than the other patients who weren't eating these 36 eggs a day and they were eating a regular diet. So Gironda and this physician got to talking and they wondered, hey, could this be applicable for bodybuilding? Are there some principles at work here that would cause you to build muscle at a much faster rate? So the idea was this: 36 raw eggs along with 8 to 12 ounces of half and half creamer put into a shake, mixed in a little bit of protein powder as well, and drink that every 3 hours. Now, he wanted raw eggs because he thought that by heating them up or cooking them, you would denature or destroy the cholesterol molecule and kind of make the whole thing pointless. Now, why was that important to Gironda? Well, Gironda knew that from a biochemical standpoint, you actually manufacture testosterone from cholesterol. So he wanted massive amounts of cholesterol, and he thought that would convert into massive amounts of testosterone, giving you this anabolic boost. All right, so in total, for 36 eggs, it's a little over 2,500 calories, about 234 grams of protein, 167 grams of fat, and a whopping 6,700 milligrams of cholesterol. So surely with all that cholesterol and all that protein, it would have a really strong anabolic effect and testosterone would be through the roof, right? At least that was the logic. But is that really how things work in the body? All right, so testosterone is made from cholesterol. We send cholesterol to the moon. More cholesterol equals more testosterone equals more muscle mass, and we're off to the races. Well, not so fast. There are 3 issues that I found with this protocol, and I want to kind of talk about them one at a time. The first one is, I think, the most important because the purported effects were to raise testosterone and create an almost steroid-like effect in the body. There's one issue with that though. So testosterone synthesis is actually regulated by luteinizing hormone in the body, which is released from the pituitary gland. And an overabundance of dietary cholesterol doesn't necessarily increase luteinizing hormone or free testosterone. Think about it like this: your factory machinery can only process so much cholesterol at one time. So there's a bunch of cholesterol basically just standing in line at the factory ready to be sent away, but it can only go so fast. There's a rate limit to how much can be converted at one particular time. Adding in more to the diet, unfortunately, doesn't speed up this process. All right, the second issue with this diet is actually digestibility. Now, Gironda recommended eating raw eggs because he didn't want to denature the cholesterol molecule, but it turns out that raw eggs only digest at a rate of about 50 to 60%, and that's because raw eggs contain natural chemical blockers that paralyze digestive enzymes, specifically trypsin, that helps your body break these down. Cooking the eggs breaks down these blockers and helps you actually digest the eggs more effectively. Not to mention it kills salmonella and other bacteria and things that could harm you from eating raw food, which is generally not recommended. All right, the third issue with this diet is the anabolic equivalence that Gironda thought would be similar to a mild cycle of Dianabol. Although daily consumption of 36 eggs and a bunch of of half and half would put you in an anabolic state, it's not because of a precursor hormone-like effect. It's actually just because you're going to be in a caloric surplus and you're going to be getting plenty of protein, which leads to a positive nitrogen balance. The thing is, though, this can be done with any food. It doesn't have to be eggs or half and half or anything special. So basically, you can eat the foods that you actually enjoy and create the same effect without having to wash down disgusting raw eggs, like 6 times a day. Sorry, Rocky. And I'll throw in one more runner-up problem with this diet. Sending a massive wave of undigested sulfur-rich amino acids straight into your large intestine creates an environment where your gut microbes will actually ferment this into hydrogen sulfide, which in massive quantities is highly toxic, pro-inflammatory, and can degrade your gut's protective mucus layer and starve your colon cells of energy. Just a side note. All right, so should you try the 36 egg a day diet to mimic the effects of a Dianabol cycle and build a ton of muscle? Probably not. However, I like the outside of the box thinking by Gironda. He was famous for that, mostly on the training side, but also on the nutrition side as well. There are some other protocols that he has recommended as well. Maybe we'll get to those at some point. But to be fair, we didn't know quite as much about the human body and about all these interactions in the body back when he was recommending these things. And trying out new ideas and experimenting is how you move a field forward and how you actually discover new things. So props to him for at least thinking outside of the box and trying something new, and hopefully we can do more of that in the years to come. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.